How has climate change become a factor on the fall of the ancient civilization?
Ancient civilizations in general is very different from the present. They have different cultures and beliefs from us today. Their way of living could be harsh like the Code of Hammurabi. Also, there were natural disasters that affected their cultural living, which gradually became the end of their civilizations. These ancient civilizations such as China, India, and Egypt were affected by climate change. Okay na.
The first ancient civilization that we're going to talk about is China. Climate change affected China by extreme rains, floods, and earthquakes. The changes that happened to China due to large population and high exposure to sea level rise, storm surge, and river flooding mega deltas such as the Zhujiang were especially affected. There were precipitation declines and droughts in most delta regions of China. Also, the climate became warmer. If the current warming rates are maintained, glaciers in the Himalayas are likely to shrink at very rapid rates from 500 kilometers squared in 1995 to 100,000 kilometers squared by 2030s. We can easily say that the floods destroyed the city's agricultural and humans, which became the end of the civilization.
Next, the ancient civilization that was affected by another climate change was Egypt. Egypt was surrounded by deserts, so the civilization started near the Nile River, which gave them fertile soil to farm. Egypt, which was and still a hot country, often had droughts and less precipitation. The river eventually began to dry up and the civilization wasn't able to grow. They had no more resource of food, shelter, and especially it was too hot. The civilization ended by the sudden change of climate change.
Another ancient civilization that was affected by climate change was India. Monsoon is one of a factor that affected India's climate change. Monsoon season in India is controlled by the development of high and low atmospheric pressures over land and sea. Climate is also another factor that affected ancient India's climate change. It affects the agriculture production of India. Flooding causes the destruction of maturing crops, leading again to food shortages, and destruction of villages located on the banks of rivers, which results to scarcity of food.